find. It's quite close contemporary of Francis Thompson, though he lived a lot longer, called Eamon Wrigley. He was from really quite far east Lancashire, almost Yorkshire, and in fact the Lancashire Authors Association and the kind of Yorkshire equivalent tried to claim him as a poet. So I was kind of torn between the two. I think the Chorley Reading Detectives project's been really good. It's been great to get into some of the old reserve stock archives in libraries across the county. All the reference librarians have been very forthcoming in lending us the material, so that's been a really good side of the project.
I've enjoyed very much meeting with other people and exploring the wide range of the authors who have written in the Lancashire area. Some of whom I'd heard of before, like Francis Thompson, and others that had escaped me completely. One particular favourite of mine, of course, is a very local poet and author, Phoebe Hesketh, who has died in the last few years, but who lived for a long time at Waterman's Cottage on Rivington.
And it's a strongly committed novel politically. Clark was a convinced socialist, very much influenced by his dad, and that comes through a lot of his novels. They're about ordinary working class people in Lancashire, which is where he came from. Yeah, I think the Reading Detectives is a fantastic project. I'm really pleased that it's introduced Alan Clark to a modern day readership. He knew and loved Chorley. His wife came from there, and he wrote a lot about the town and local beauty spots. So I think he'll be looking down from up there thinking, yeah, that's great, fantastic.
I've been in the really lucky position of project managing Reading Detectives, which I think, as Stephen said, has happened over the country. There have been 5 teams, and this team's been marvellous. I think you found some really wonderful things, and we've heard some of that this afternoon. Really great. It was part of an Arts Council and BBC project, so it's got quite a high profile. We've had some interesting coverage. Stephen was on Radio Lancashire, which I think is great. And over, I think, 257 finds were found all over the country. There was 37 people blogging. I know everybody wasn't taking part in the website, but it's been a fantastic sort of facility for people to communicate right across the country about all the local things they've found.
My favourite find, so was Leonora Carrington. I come from an art history background, and she's actually a surrealist artist and writer, and someone I've never heard of before. Writes quite strange works of fiction. Her Hearing Trumpet, her most famous work, sort of starts off quite normal and then spirals off into the surreal. And to find out that she's not only from Chorley but from Clayton, which is actually where I live now, was just fascinating.
Do not eat the shellfish, which we'd spent years gathering. Do not eat the shellfish. Tampons, turds and fixing agents, harsh industrial detergents, nitrates, bleach and scouring soaps, carried down the rivers, churning round the coast. Detritus from our modern lives, discharge on the ebbing tides.
As a writer from a small press, I can't really emphasise how important a project like Reading Detectives has been, because too often books, when they come out, initially there's quite a bit of publicity, and then all too often they fall by the wayside and they just end up gathering dust on shelves in libraries, or they're stacked up in the back rooms of bookshops. And Reading Detectives is actually discovering these books and actually bringing them to the fore again and giving them a second hearing, and for that, I'm eternally grateful.